Hello, welcome to Laughing Griffin Crafting. It's Tony again. This time I'm making dungeon tiles that can be used in various role-playing games, for tabletop games. Let's get started. So first, the materials. You're going to need cardboard. Yep, very simple. Maybe not so simple to obtain, but if you ever shop at Aldi or Sam's Club, they pretty much let you take any cardboard boxes that you want when you're leaving the store to haul your groceries out. So that's always a good place to source cardboard. Next, you're going to need just regular pieces of paper and or construction paper. You'll be using that to trim all of the cardboard so you don't have the cardboard looking appearance with all the tiles. You'll need paint. All you need is the very cheap acrylic craft paint. I used two different colors for mine, a darker gray and a lighter gray. You will also need black paint. You can use spray paint for this. I certainly did. It makes it a lot easier than having to paint it all by hand. If you really wanted to, I suppose you could not have to use the spray paint. And it's going to be black spray paint. Flat, normal black spray paint. You're going to need probably scissors and a knife. And this is the type of knife that is like a, not an X-Acto, but a box cutter knife so that you can actually cut through the cardboard. You'll also need some type of glue, the very cheap school glue that's the PVA Elmer's glue. That would work perfectly fine for this. Also, a metal ruler, preferably a right-angled metal ruler, is also quite helpful because that way you can get all of your cuts at a right angle. So first of all, just go ahead and get a whole bunch of cardboard, preferably you want to use the side that doesn't have any writing on it so that it's easier to paint over. And you're basically going to cut out a whole bunch of squares. I used a bunch of 3 by 3 inch squares, 1 by 3 inch squares, and then a couple of larger ones for the larger rooms that you might want to make. And you use your straight edge to basically cut out rectangles. You don't necessarily have to cut out rectangles, but for the purpose of this video, that's what I did. And then you're going to want to then cut out all the pieces of paper as strips to basically go around the edge of all of the cardboard and glue those in place. And I will say that this is a very tedious and long process depending on the number of tiles you want to make. You don't have to do this step, but they look better if you do, so it's worth it. And what's always really nice about these is that they actually stack up and don't take a whole heck of a lot of space. So as you can see here, this is maybe the size of like a textbook, and it's a lot of tiles. It will pretty much cover a whole table for gaming purposes. So next I'm going to spray paint all the tiles black as an undercoat. And notice I have put these on plywood so that I don't actually spray the ground. Otherwise you have a lot of big mess. Also, you're going to want to do this on a day that is not windy. If there's wind, forget about it. It ain't going to happen because these are cardboard and they're light and they're all just going to fly away. So, yeah. Also, you're going to want to wear probably a mask even if you are outside. I don't like breathing in this stuff at all. So, yeah, spray paint, very simple, flat black. And here's a tool that I find is quite useful if you do any amount of spray painting. This little gadget you put on top of the spray can, it keeps your hands from getting covered with it. Makes the control a lot easier. You always know where the nozzle is going to be pointing. If you mess up, the nozzle's not pointing towards you. Makes things a lot easier. I also always advise wearing goggles as well as a mask. Even though I'm outside, I don't like to breathe this stuff in at all. Don't know really what's in it. Don't really care to have my lungs find out what's in it, so always wear protection and wear a mask. So after a black base coat, I'm going to be using a darker gray acrylic craft paint from Apple Barrel. Very simple. These things are about, I don't know, like 50 cents or so at Walmart. Other craft stores have these for very cheap. And I'm basically going to be dotting it all on with the use of a sponge. In this video here, you see I have the sponge and a sponge on a stick. I did not use the sponge on a stick very well. It was too small for coverage. Also, this wet palette idea, putting something wet with the paint on it. I didn't use that for very long. After the darker gray, I then used a lighter gray to put in all the highlights, because obviously there's no texture on any of this, so you have to create your texture yourself. So the light gray, that was, as I'm demonstrating here, this is basically what you're doing after all the black is done. So dark gray first, then the light gray, over and over and over again. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. And here is how it looks in context with the table. Make a lot of different shapes so that you have some variation here. And as you can see here, I also have some actual stone tiles, and this is what I was getting at. Now these stone tiles, they do look a little bit bluer because they are some type of marble. As you can see, it's not that far off in terms of when you compare it. And this is a very simple, straightforward technique. I mean, it's literally just a sponge and some craft paint. And here is a slate tile. This is a kind of tile that would go perhaps on a roof or such. And I acquired this some time ago. But as you can see, I put the tile on, and the paint job that you do with this, it actually matches up pretty well. So you can't say that in any way, shape, or form that it doesn't match up with actual stone, because it does, and it does a very good job of it. I have the larger ones here for my Cthulhu boss area. It's sort of a context of how much space this all takes up. I mean, this is my big dining room table, and this is not even all of those tiles that you had seen stacked up. So I do hope that this was helpful for some people. If you have questions, be sure to ask in the comments section. Try to get back to you on that. Also, I'm going to be posting more vids and have some other vids already posted, so check those out. And as usual, do the usual YouTube thing and like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Go back and check out all the other videos I have. I also have other websites here on YouTube, including a video gaming website and an exercising website. So you can see those in the links that I have attached to this video, as well as to the main YouTube channel site as well. I'm going to put up some pictures of the other things you might like on the channel. So go ahead and click on some of those, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.